Welcome to the Creator Spicy Tea podcast, where we sit, we dish, and we spill that tea on adult content. Today, I'm actually kind of excited, but it's a little bit of a not so positive topic that definitely needs to be discussed. I'm excited because we have a great guest coming on that's going to have some great insight and hopefully some really great opinions on what's kind of happening in the adult space. But on that topic, it's another hit on adult creators and what we do. So whether you're a new creator or a longtime professional, I really hope you get to sit in, deep dive, and enjoy what we're talking about. Today, we're going to be taking a kind of deep and honest look at the current situation around Manyvids. A lot of us know Manyvids as the site that we go to kind of post clips on there, to do some selling when we're not actively selling, and to house some of our video content. They do have a lot of other things like a wish list. They have some streaming aspects that you can do there. It's been a staple in adult content for I don't know how long, longer than I've been in adult content. And it's considered to be a safe way of getting those clips out and has been praised and talked about by so many different creators. So what happens when that type of platform decides to, I'm trying to think of a really respectful way to say this, but
shit.
when you shit where you eat, that's what I'm saying. That's it. I was trying to be when you shit where you eat.
I don't have to be respectful.
But that starts to take a hit on your income, on your ability to push out to different viewers, on something that's supposed to be a safe place for you that was made by a sex worker for sex workers. It is no longer sex worker friendly. We're going to talk about this, talk about what we're doing, maybe what you could be doing, and just give a lot of transparency about what we have seen regarding this. So Allie is going to be one of our amazing creators because she and I both use this.
So as y'all can see, Kate is taking over this episode. She had a stronger, more passionate, actually, let's be real, she had a more professional way of handling this. I'm not being professional about this, but we do also have a very special guest today who has been a long-standing Manyvids creator.
Aerie is here. And let me just give you a little bit of a background. So not only has Aerie been very vocal about a lot of the problems that Manyvids has created for themselves, essentially, and been on the front lines, at least on Twitter, talking about, replying to, and directly communicating with Manyvids about all of the not so great goodness that they are coming up with. She is actually the blog manager for Eurovids, which is another video hosting site.
We have seen questions in our YouTube comments on Eurovids many times. Y'all, I think if we all give a huge thank you, once this podcast episode is done, we might be able to convince her to do resources with us on Eurovids. Might, hopes, prayers, fingers crossed.
I'm not going to show my toes crossed right now, but like,
we
no
don't get that away for free.
So together, the three of us are going to sit down, chat about this, our opinions, explore what this kind of means for the community in itself, talk what we're going to do going forward, business strategy wise, backup plans and step you can take if you want to move from Manyvids, if you don't, if you want to explore the things that are out there. Cause plot twist, Manyvids is not the only one out there that you can hold and host your clips.
Ain't no one seen that coming. Shocker.
I'm sorry, but sometimes people need to be reminded.
It's true, though. That's true as shit.
So sit down, relax, and sip some tea with us. Dig into it. I'm going to let Aerie go ahead and introduce her amazing self.
Thank you so much, Casey.
Hi, I'm Aerie Saunders. I've been in the adult industry for over 10 years and I was on Manyvids pretty much at their conception, if not maybe a month or two afterwards. I work as a blogger and affiliate marketer in the adult industry, as well as creating content, occasionally camming, fan clubs, membership sites, just a little bit of everything, jack of all trades, basically. Online and in the adult industry, I've probably done it. I absolutely love the adult community, and a big passion of mine is advocating for fair treatment for adult workers. So I am happy to be here and excited to talk with you.
I was actually talking with you when I first reached out that I was a fan of yours before that. I loved your work. And then when I saw you speaking out, because I was there like page for page while Manyvids was crashing out essentially
Yeah.
online. And you were so vocal and so great and were also like offering up like strategic ways to like, okay, if you want to move off of Manyvids, this is what you can do. If you have to stay on there because this is a big part of your income, like this is also things you can do. And I adored how vocal you were being and how creator forward you were being. That was just amazing and kind of hot. That was really hot to see. So I appreciate that, which is
Thank you.
great. But content wise, it's amazing. You're fantastic and love seeing what you do. I kind of wanted to get like, I guess, a little bit of your opinion on everything because it was like frame for frame live action watching everything on Manyvids happen
Yeah.
where it was like I would wake up like a day would go by. I'm like, that's a little weird that that's happening. Why are we posting that? And then the next day I would wake up and it would be like, so Manyfit is now going after creators on
Uh,
main. And I was like, what is happening so quickly? So from your point of view, like how did that timeline happen? Like what were you like seeing happen in real time?
so the most recent events in real time definitely started with a lot of pushback from creators about the use of AI on the platform, the lack of communication on the platform, as well as the lack of general support and unfair payments for certain features on the site. So if you aren't familiar with Manyvids, they have had contests since I want to say around 2018, a little sketchy on that timeline, but it's around that time. And they pay out 60% for contest votes, which is essentially a tip. You don't have to give somebody a service or incentive to vote for you, but it is up to you if you want to. They raised their cut for tips on the site and they never increased contest votes. And this was a big deal for a lot of people because the way to rank on Manyvids for the past 6 years now has been participating in these contests. And
Mm-hmm.
Manyvids is keeping 40% for essentially posting an additional tip page for you, and that's it. So it was very unfair, and a lot of models started to push back on this. Some notable ones were a group that put together some banners that says ManyVids takes 40% of worker income, and just pushing this message out to them. And it was quiet for a little while creators continued to comment to them on social media, where they stopped featuring their creators forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they only continued to post on their feed on the website. And it was, in all kindness, AI slop. It was just
Yeah.
generative content by AI that a lot of the time had nothing to do with sex work. And then the biggest thing that I think really set people off was finding out that on Bella French's website, Bella French is the CEO, for anyone who doesn't know, she said that her goal with ManyVids is to transition sex workers out of the industry. So she's underpaying her workers with the goal of transitioning them out of the industry,
Mm-hmm.
but offering no meaningful resources.
Yeah.
That made a lot of people upset. And
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
people. Hi.
yeah,
We
Yeah, like
we wrote a whole I'm pissed. This is not okay. This is exploitative. At this
yeah,
point, you don't get to shame and profit from the same person. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what really set people off. More and more people started commenting on this stuff to the point where, in my opinion, I feel like internally they were like, okay, we need to address this. So they did through an apology written with AI.
Yes.
The
Oh, it was
ukulele
so
apology,
bad.
you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was not a very good apology. It didn't feel very meaningful. And they actually doubled down on that opinion that Bella French has, saying that it was a long-standing goal that she had that entire time. So that came as a surprise to many people, considering that Bella herself used to work as a cam model and content producer in the adult industry.
Yeah.
So after that, people were still very mad and the complaints continued to pile up until eventually one day, after just kind of like radio silence on their end between that apology and then the crash out, they crashed out and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who it was. My assumption, I can only assume, this isn't a fact because they didn't sign off on their name or anything, but my assumption is that Bella French was logged into the Manyvids Twitter account and was replying to creators. And some of my reasoning for believing it's her is because she specifically went to pages of people who hadn't interacted with Manyvids in days and left negative or degrading commentary on their posts. Myself and a few of my friends had agreed that we were no longer going to give Manyvids the attention or time of day because they clearly weren't listening. So there was no real reason for them to visit my page and leave degrading comments to me. And there was no reason for them to visit my friends' pages. But lo and behold, they did. They
Mm-hmm.
came to our pages. They left us very negative commentary. They even did a tweet and delete online because their first harsh dig wasn't good enough for them. So they needed to double down and do a better one. So that's why I think it was her, because she has a long-standing position within the company and also knowledge on who's been around, who's supported the site, and who's criticized the site. So that happened and just shook up X/Twitter for like days.
Yeah.
It was
It's been a shit
nasty.
show. Yeah.
It
And
was
yeah,
wild to see just because, like, for me, doing that in the biggest public eye possible is absolutely outright. That is the most unprofessional, the most disrespectful, and like
Shameful.
it's shameful. It's
it is.
so like sometimes I'll look at people, I'm like, at least like have the gall to like take it behind the scenes, like do an email, do whatever like professional thing you need to do to get your feelings out essentially. But she said, I'm going to have this crash out online and try and take out the creators who helped build up Manyvids. Because
Exactly.
that's, I guess, the thing that a lot of people don't realize is you can offer creators whatever and they can come, but it's going to be the actual creators who bring the buyers who sit there and go on to others, go make it big, make it a trustworthy type of thing. And that's on the backs of creators. We do that. We are the middleman between your platform and our buyers, essentially.
Yeah, we are the product you're selling.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you showing that absolute blatant disrespect for another person, but also someone who is essentially paying your bills. Because I know where that 40%'s going.
Well, it goes past blatant disrespect. It goes to threatening. They actually told a creator that they think that they're being paid to hate on them and they're going to report their X account for their commentary, which could lead to their account being suspended, to their account being banned. And what that means is loss of income, not just on Manyvids itself, but every other platform that this creator is promoting on their X account. So it's not just about disrespect, because you know what, Manyvids, you can call me a bitch. That's fine. I am. But you can't take away my platform because I disagree with you. And the fact that they're making up lies to try to justify to people who may not be tech savvy, may not know what's going on, may not be on social media often, and trying to tell them that all of this hate they're getting is being bought and isn't genuine is very disingenuous.
Also, the oldest excuse online at this point, and I've seen that stuff with other creators. I've had creators when I was reaching out to see like who would want to be a part of this and talk about it, them like shutting down entire accounts for them without notice and then be like, oh, you have X amount of days and then we'll give it back to you. And then X amount of days passes and they
And they
still
don't
don't
give
have.
it.
And that is at the point where you can, again, you can call me a bitch. I am one, but now you're hitting out my income. And there are
Yeah.
a lot of people who trusted in Manyvids who made that
Yeah.
their main platform. That's their source of income. There are some who do like, oh, that's my passive income, but that's still a huge chunk of it. Like
Yeah.
essentially for me before, because
Something you rely on.
it is. I recently deleted my Manyvids account because of all this. I said, I'm not messing with this. It's not that big. I would say it was maybe 10% of my total adult work income. So I was in a very lucky like
Very.
minority that it's not gonna hit me that hard to look for another clip site, to look for another place to post my videos and to host my videos. But there are some people where that is their income. That is what they do. They are known as a Manyvids creator where
I
they
mean,
can't just.
yeah, they've been around for 10 years and their platform was built by creators. I don't have any like conceivable memory of them actually bringing traffic to the site that wasn't just creators bringing traffic to the site. Obviously, I don't know their back end or if they ever paid for traffic outside of that, but you can kind of assume based on the people on the site and the interactions and who ended up being a top model early on that it was model traffic brought to the site. So if you already brought all of your fans here, and at 60% payout in 2016, 2015, that was a good payout. These days it's BS. They really need to work on that.
Yeah.
But back then it was amazing. And a lot of models pushed their fans there because it was a great opportunity. It was a lot of MFC models, chatterbait models looking for a place to sell their videos. And at the time they were only making 50% on their content sales because they were selling it for tokens versus flat out pay per video. So it made a lot of sense then. So you don't want to leave the site because you've already said for years now, 10 years at least, this is a trustworthy site. This is a valuable site and this is where all of my fans are. And the reason everyone's fans are there is because Manyvids lied. I mean, they said they would never take away our freedoms. They did. They don't let us post links anymore. When Chatterbait took away links, they put out a whole press release thing about how they would never do that. And they've just lied over and over again throughout the years and slowly whittled down the things that made their site actually good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's the underhanded lying that I think a lot of people are just done.
Yeah.
Because there was so much, we are by creators, we are for creators, right? Until it was, oh, well, you're not the right kind of creator. You're not the fancy schmancy one that I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, I guess it's frustrating to me. I think that's the big thing for me is like, it is very frustrating that we have put our faith, trust, and pixie dust into this website for them to just kind of come back. And I said earlier during the intro, and like, you're literally like shitting where you sleep, essentially. Like, that is what is happening. We are here, we are making this a thing. And there were some big things that I adored about Manyvids. I like that from the get-go they said you're not going to have chargebacks. Once you tip, that tip is in there. I loved that. I was like, that is great. I love the fact that I could take customs on there, and I had they had like different, categories, so you could charge differently for certain customs and kind of automate that from that. I did enjoy that. There were some really good things. But when you start piling on the cons like they're doing, it's so hard to believe that you ever wanted the best for creators. Especially when I know you mentioned them posting like this was what we always had in mind, right? I distinctly remember them doing it was the AI slop of post on like a piece of notebook paper where it had like the scribbled out, and it was like, this was our plan from the start, and we're gonna start this did piss me off. They're like, we're gonna start funneling the funds so that way we're gonna start taking less and less, but we just have to work our way there to get to that point. And I'm like, there ain't no way on God's green earth are you gonna do that. You're saying that to make us happy, but if you're used to taking 40% and people are just saying, okay, well, it's Manyvids, at least it's safe, take the 40%. You're not going to change that. You're saying that to get everyone off your back. And that cute little graphic that you put is not, it's not doing anything. It's just kind of trying to alleviate some of the pushback that you're getting.
Yeah. And they have not always had that point of view of transitioning sex workers out of the industry. And I'm lucky enough to have been working in a media and blogging position, so I have a little more information than those models may have access to. But a few years back, Bella French actually wanted to start a program for full service sex workers to provide them with resources and donations and things to, better their environment and help them if they wanted that help. So it's really hard for me to believe that somebody who had that idea and wanted to move forward with that, with actually helping the sex work community, including full service sex workers, would then come out years later after a very long, weird, suspicious hiatus and suddenly decide that they don't want anyone in sex work anymore. And that initial plan that she had never ended up taking action all the way. I'm not sure why, but it got cut off. An email was sent out that was basically like, never mind, this isn't happening. And it was before I was actually supposed to have an interview with her to talk to her about her plan. And her hiatus followed shortly after. So I'm not sure if maybe when somebody purchased Manyvids, they tried to kind of take away some of her decision-making authority, or what could have potentially happened there. But she was pro-sex work. She did want to provide resources, and she was never whatever this is. And it almost makes me question if the person doing all of this even is Bella French, because there haven't been videos of her. There's no new photos of her. All of the photos being used are either generated by AI or old photos. So is it even her? I don't know, but I don't believe that's been their goal this entire time.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of creators, we all looked at Manyvids like this is creator made. We had a lot of trust in it. We had a lot of trust in this is creator for creator. And now we are watching everybody, every creator having that trust ripped away. And it's not in some graceful, oh, we're falling from grace. No, this is an avalanche and a tumble. What was your moment? Right? That one moment that was like, I can no longer turn a blind eye to this. What was that one moment that you're like, fuck, I can't trust this no more?
So my moment was actually many years before other people had their moment. And it's interesting. Somebody posted a video of themselves doing inappropriate relations with their pet on Manyvids. And it was a very long time ago when they took it down very quickly, but did not ban the creator from the platform. So I know, yeah. So at the time, that was a huge problem for me. Morally, ethically, legally, that is horrible. That is horrendous. We shouldn't give people who post illegal content a platform. And when I said something about it, Bella basically said to me, like, everybody makes mistakes.
That's
but
not a mistake.
Those
That's
kinds
a
of
thought
mistakes.
process. This may be a hot take, right? I truly believe that in the content creation space with this, right, there are many ways that you can make a mistake, right? And I think if it's a small mistake, absolutely everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's not that's not just a mistake. That is one illegal. I don't know how many vids got past that without someone calling someone and being like, I just watched this girl.
It was about a year before Visa and MasterCard started heavily reviewing content, looking at their partners and stuff like that. So I want to say it was around 2019, maybe 2018. It was early on in their conception, and it was also before the porn industry became what we know it as now. But still, horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, and they didn't take it down at all, or they took it down, but they didn't ban the creator, you said?
Correct. They let the creator keep their profile, and that was basically the end of that from them. I am not sure if the creator is still active. Blocked and never looked again.
Of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Yeah. So that was the moment I first deleted my Manyvids account. I've deleted my Manyvids account probably 3 or 4 times now. So there's a long span of me being very unsatisfied with what they were doing. But that was the big turning point for me and what turned me from viewing Manyvids as a reliable and trustworthy place to something where I feel like I need to watch out because I
Mhm.
could get negative attention because of the people they're allowing to create content, specifically illegal content on the
Mhm.
site. But yeah, there's been many occasions. I mean, I organized a protest to try to lobby to get their payout for contest votes, and they ended up censoring every creator that participated, and many creators are suspicious that they even shadow banned people who participated. So if anybody knows about that, it was hashtag community over contest. There were over 100 performers that participated in that. And they let it go for the first contest we did it in, and they responded and they said, we'll do one free contest a year and we'll give more promotion on the site. And that was their response. And then after that, they started censoring contest entries. If you said anything about community within your contest entry post or on your profile, it would be taken down. They would send you an email, and that would be it. It was totally and entirely banned from their platform. And it's not confirmed by data because I can't log into the Manyvids account and be like, "Oh, are we shadow
Yep.
banning?" But statistically, I've seen statistics from Manyvids from multiple creators' pages who participated, and their views went down by the hundred.
Yep. Yeah, that's not surprising in the slightest. But what that is corporate behavior. And Manyvids is a clip site. And the people on clip sites are not studio focused, necessarily primarily studio folks. So you can
Mm-hmm.
have strict corporate industry behavior if that's the people making up your demographic. But that's not. And it
It's
never
not.
has been. And so it's a further disrespect to just the general demographic you're serving.
For sure. And I feel like they use that to their advantage almost because they're not working with studios that
Absolutely.
have a large budget.
Mm-hmm.
They're working with people who make modest income most of the time and are scared of legal action from a big company like that. And they're scared of getting hate on social media from them. And they're scared to speak out because if they are shadow banned on the platform, they may not be able to pay their rent. There's
Yeah,
so many
there's
people
real
that
world consequences.
exactly. And a lot of people don't have the resources that Manyvids has available to them from building their empire off of the backs of content creators, and they're abusing that power essentially.
It's almost like a hostage situation at that point where they're holding your livelihood, they are holding your money. Again, they are holding your money because we've seen multiple creators who have been like, I would like to close my thing. I don't like what you're doing, whatever. And they have a good chunk of money sitting in their
Mm-hmm.
Manyvids wallet, essentially waiting to take it out. And that's just disappeared. That's gone. Yeah, we'll delete your account, but we're going to keep that.
Yeah,
And
That's illegal.
that's illegal as hell. Uh-huh.
the
But a lot of
worst part
people
is,
don't.
yep, what you were exactly gonna say. Go for it, girl.
No,
Pop
wait, what were
off.
you going to say? No, Mel, what
I
were
was
you
gonna
going to say?
say a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know you can fight.
A lot of
You
people don't
earn
have
that
the
money.
option to fight. That was what I was going to
That's
say. Because even
true.
if you want to
Fuck,
have the
yeah.
option, is it worth the 500 in your account to have to hire an attorney for that when Manyvids can sit there and just keep pumping into their legal team?
Also, the amount of attorneys that actually specialize in adult law, which is very different from common law, so limited.
Very
So
Mm-hmm.
limited. So their prices are a bit higher because it's a niche market. You're not going to
absolutely.
get a lawyer that can represent you, contact them on your behalf, and actually get your money out for less than $1,000. At
Yep.
that point, is it worth it?
And
Absolutely.
that's what they're banking on. I have a feeling that that is what they are banking on, that this is a I know people make money from this, right? We do, right? But for the majority of people, it is extra income, I guess to say. So it's one of those things where it's like, is it gonna be worth it for me in the end? And they are banking on it not being worth it for you in the end with what they have. And that in itself is also predatory. Like,
Mhm.
it's starting to come up because I'm fairly new to this. I've been doing this for 3 years now for sex work. And I was from the beginning told that Manyvids was safe, it was good, it was all these things. Absolutely yes. I didn't know anything about the illegal things that may have been posted. I didn't
Mhm.
know of any of the negative things. None of that was widely available or known if you have been around during that, right? So a lot of people don't know about that, weren't aware of that, and this has just been brought to my attention with, I thought it was just, wow, you had a crash out on Twitter. That's just not a good look. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that, especially with you treating creators like this. But now seeing red flag after red flag after red flag, I'm like, how has this been like continuously going on to this point that we're at?
Yeah.
How this is now, I guess.
Because they silence creators that speak up against them. I've been speaking out publicly against Manyvids and what they do and some of the illegal actions they let take place, and the unfair payout percentage and things like that. Since I want to say 2020 is when I heavily started speaking out about it, and they will suppress you in any way they can if you do speak out against them. My statistics went down horrendously. At one point, I want to say, in the top 200 models on Manyvids.
Mhm.
After I started publicly speaking out, no traffic to my page, and they also conveniently they redesigned the site while my account was deactivated because of another thing they did that pissed me off. And they promised my followers would still be there, everything would still be there if I chose to come back. It wasn't. They wiped my whole profile. None of my followers were there anymore. So the years that I spent building up my following on the site, just gone upon my return. So yeah, I mean, they will punish people who speak out against them, whether it's intentionally or because they're bad at back-end management. I don't know.
You're gonna say you're giving them so much grace right now. With
I was
that,
gonna say that's so nice. Thinking they're stupid is so nice, honey. That's so sweet of you.
I accuse them of doing anything
Of
intentionally or
course.
with
Of
malicious
course.
intent. So those are the two options. It was malicious or it was on accident. Either way,
Mhm.
it's a shame that they did that. And I mean, they shouldn't have offered deactivation as an option if they couldn't actually keep your fans, but who knows? But yeah, they punish people who speak out. I feel like I've been punished. I've either been punished or I've been at the bad end of the accidents on their behalf a few times. Either way, they have definitely made it harder for me to have a sustainable income from their platform. So I just had to deviate from their platform entirely. And once you
Yeah.
do that, I feel like you don't feel like a credible source for information about them anymore because you're not actively in it. And I think that's where a lot of people who left earlier on because they were unhappy with Manyvids
mm-hmm.
may have stopped speaking about it as often. And that's why newer creators are coming into it blindly because
Mm.
you don't want to give them the time of day if you're no longer on the platform. And then you also don't feel like you're relevant and caught up on the ongoing problems on the platform. So you feel uncomfortable speaking about it.
That's definitely fair.
We need the people like you who were like, because I started on Manyvids 2022, I think. So very not long ago. And I used it primarily for passive income, clip sales, and or a
Mm-hmm.
payment method. But even in the time that I was very actively using it, I still didn't know any of this information. Most people who are coming in, not even just new, but creators who've been on the platform for a while, but are just using the platform very shallowly, won't know this information. And so the fact that they are silencing creators who know this information means a lot of something. And I know you said that you diverted your traffic elsewhere. And you just said, nope, can't do it. And I know we've been seeing a lot of creators doing that. We've been seeing a lot of creators pause their uploads, shift their scheduling, and just take another platform. Have you seen any trends on where creators are going? Because that's kind of what we need right now is a future plan. Because kind of in the shits right now. So how do we get out of it?
So right now, I think if you're looking for the best Manyvids alternative, because at the time of its downfall, which I'm going to say is the Twitter crash out is their downfall time,
Sure.
um, there is no other all-in-one, nothing that has a storefront, a video storefront, tips, customs, contests, all of that. There's other websites that had pieces of it, but to make the full picture, you had to be on multiple websites, which I do recommend. Diversifying your income is never a bad thing. But after their kind of crash out, we got YourVids, which was actually created by the former CTO of Manyvids, who left in 2020, which I feel like is important to share with everybody because a lot of the bad things they started to do happened after that person was no longer there. So the site is basically like Manyvids, but better. There's a community forum section because they actually want their performer base to communicate with each other, which is so great because, yeah, I mean, like, this is how we get information out there. And they're bringing the features back that people missed from Manyvids. The blog is going to be coming soon. I'm actually managing it, quite excited. But
I love that.
and they're hiring from within the industry, which I think is amazing.
That's beautiful. That's correct.
Because who
That is
knows
beautiful.
the industry? Yeah. Like that's a smart move on their part. And it's also very for me because I made the switch. I was in the YourVid, like I guess beta test, whatnot, and started setting up my store that way. I adore it. Not only that, but just me being the vain narcissist that I am sometimes, color scheme, immaculate.
It is
so
very
pretty.
nice.
It's very pretty. If I was talking about your vids, because I've been bringing up a lot more in different spaces, is I need a very straightforward UI. It's one of the reasons why I chose Manyvids over like I want clips and like clips for sale.
Yeah.
Because those are so hard for me to maneuver, so hard for my brain to like wrap around. It wasn't like a straightforward thing. So in my head, I'm like, I can't use this. I just can't use it. And that's where like I liked your vids because it's easy to upload. It's easy to like label, put the money up. I do like the fact that you keep what you put your video as.
And
Like,
I think that's what actually scares people off of the site because it's non-traditional in the sense that like you set your price and that's what you keep and then they charge the customer an extra fee. And I've seen a lot of people online talking about how they don't like it, how it's confusing. And that kind of came as a surprise to me because I feel like it's so much better to be able to like just actually know what you're going to make, know what your bottom line is.
It's that, and so many other places are. That's the thing that's happening more because, like, even so, Throne, if you use that, right? You get your base amount. Yeah. And then they have the like extra fee, service fee, whatever the case, the taxes or whatever that
Goes
they
to the
take
buyer.
goes to the buyer, as it should.
Let's flip the combo back over to Manyvids right now. So I have a mentee who came in and she asked me, she says, I have all these clips. Where do I put them? Now, my answer since day one, based on my own personal experiences, was always Manyvids. Oh my God, it'll sell easier. Do your thing. Well, that's not my answer anymore. So you have a girly, a boy, someone coming in who says, no matter what, want to start on Manyvids. Okay. What would your advice be to them?
Understand it. It is the #1 clip site for traffic. I don't have the numbers on me, but it's in the 30 million range, how many monthly visitors Manyvids get. So porn itself has never been an industry that is highly moral and ethical. It's something where you can indulge in kinks and fetishes that may be a bit taboo and may not be agreeable to everybody. So I can understand putting your own personal morals and ethics to the side because it will be better for your income. But you also have to take accountability for the fact that if the income they end up creating from your content somehow goes to inflicting harm upon sex workers in the industry, that is something that you facilitated with. So I think it's a double-edged sword, because when you do something that you know is ethically incorrect, but is for the betterment of yourself, you kind of just need to like decide where you stand on it and kind of stand 10 toes down on it. There's people who can't leave Manyvids because they
Mm-hmm.
make all or most of their money there. And I'm not going to fault them for it.
Mm-mm.
But I also want to know personally that they know personally that they are continuing to pay somebody who is anti-sex work and is going to use profits from their income to make life harder for sex workers. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's just where we're at. And they're not the only company that's bad. I mean, there's plenty of other sites that are also bad. And sometimes you just have to deal with it and
Mhm.
know that, you know, your money isn't going to be used in the best way. And maybe jack your prices up on that platform if you can, because if less customers are buying from there and you have
Yep.
alternative platforms for them to shop, they are more likely to go buy it where it's cheaper.
Mhm. Yes.
So very true. It does bring up a good point of like weighing those things and also realizing that there are a lot of companies that their back end isn't like, it's not good. It's not great. And there are only so many places that have traffic and that also like you can post and sell on and things like that, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, what's good for yourself in terms of your financials and for your soul? Not your soul, but like, I'm not trying to take your
I
soul. I'm
get
so
what you're
sorry.
saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take that. You can keep that. I don't want her. I'm so sorry, but for yourself, like to make you feel good and make you feel away. I'm not going to shame anyone. I would honestly, you could do just about
Not
like
anything.
yeah, you could get real close to like me being like maybe not, but and I'm still not going to fault you. Like
Absolutely.
make your bag, make it. I can look into myself and be like, okay, I didn't make that much. It's not a big deal for me. I'm okay with taking mine off of there. That's what's better for me as a person,
Yeah.
and it doesn't hurt my financials. But I don't want there to be any like worker on worker crimes happening, you know? Like we shouldn't be going after each other, being like, oh, well, you're still on Manyvids. Like, how could you do that?
Mhm.
How could absolutely not. Stay in your
And
lane, respect each other.
we we know at this point too that the workers who are prioritizing like keeping that platform active for their income are also being, I'll say, low key threatened, because they're getting their accounts suspended or
Mhm.
banned until they agree to maintain the positive spirit of Manyvids. Whatever they mean by that, what like that is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard from a company. But they're letting people know that if they are talking about them negatively, either on the Manyvids feed or maybe even Twitter, that their accounts can be shut down and they have to agree to keep positive spirits about the site. So it's important to share information if you're not on the platform anymore, because the people on the platform that are being put in this compromising position literally can't. They
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
cannot post about it.
Yep.
So don't just
Mm-hmm.
assume because somebody is on there still that they agree with what's going on,
Mhm.
because it's more than likely that they don't. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
performers that are on the site, need it to pay their bills, but literally can't say anything or make reposts about it because they're scared that they're going to lose their page.
We are looking
Mm-hmm.
at a very interesting new version of a gag order that's being put on these creators. Sure, they don't have legal documents where they said, I agree to keep my mouth shut. Maybe. Who the fuck knows at this point? But when someone says, hey, do you want to buy groceries or pay your rent this month or pay for your kids' medicine?
Mm-hmm.
You keep your mouth shut. It is this horrible situation that we've seen sex workers put in since the dawn of fucking time. Keep your mouth shut, swallow the bullshit, and keep talking. And it is so incredibly harmful and disappointing to see someone who paraded herself and her business as sex worker founded to be turning around and causing all this harm, pain, suffering, and public distaste towards
Yeah.
people that this company built themselves around, and that the CEO paraded herself as being one so that people would build themselves around her company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all weren't around back then, but did you know
I
that
was not.
Manyvids actually didn't launch with Bella Friends publicly as the CEO?
No.
Fun
Hit me
fact,
with it.
she invited people privately, but it was never made public knowledge, never announced, never listed on the site or their social media that she was the CEO of the site. It was ran essentially like every other site out there that we know of that isn't performer owned. No mention of her, and it wasn't announced until they started receiving negative feedback that she was the CEO.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not funny. That is so laughable in the strategy move. That's out of the textbook.
It
That's sad.
sure is. It is
Whip
sad.
out the sex worker when you need the sex worker. Goddamn, how shameful. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a rough
No,
thing
I
to
love
say
being the
out loud,
pocket sex
but
worker. You know what I mean? Just like we're gonna keep it right
yeah,
here when we need her.
could be pocket sand, could be a pocket sex worker. Who knows? That
So
is
my next
ridiculous.
question for you, because now I'm interested, now I'm intrigued, right? So is there any chance, if there was, could, in your opinion, Manyvids do anything to like build this trust back with you? And like what would be like 3 things that they could do maybe to maybe work on their, in your opinion, like image or build back that level of trust with someone?
All right. So the platform itself kind of became very like sold out when they sold to X videos. So they would need to pass ownership to a new management company for sure, because whoever's managing it right now is doing a piss poor job. You're letting employees get on to social media and harass creators rather than apologize and address it. You're deleting all the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking away features that people love on the platform without giving any notice or saying anything. You're not lobbying for the rights of your creators. You're not
Yes.
speaking up against
Mm-hmm.
Visa and MasterCard, who are continuing to put harsh rules in place that are preventing creators from earning an income. And you're not lobbying against, I'm in the US, there's multiple states that are now putting laws into place that are affecting porn creators.
Mm-hmm.
They are
Mm-hmm.
a $1 million company. If they even scrounged up, $20,000 to put towards lobbying to help the creators that are being impacted by these laws, by these restrictions by payment processors, that would be fucking incredible. Like it would change my whole perception of them as a company if
Mm-hmm.
they did that. Do I believe they'll do that since they want to transition sex workers out of the industry? No. But that is something they could do, and I'd be like, wow, look at them. They're turning a new leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing, selling the company to somebody else too. And third, I mean, maybe establishing some sort of referral program again. I feel like that would be a big deal for me because there are
Mm-hmm.
still new models entering this industry. And I like to provide education for models and I never want to charge them for it. So a referral program for models is amazing. And then
Mm-hmm.
giving a referral program to the models for their customers when you're paying 50% for videos is more than fair. Give them an extra 5 to 10% on the video sales because they
Yes.
Yep.
brought the traffic there.
They brought you that money. Give them a kickback. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I think that would probably be my third thing. And I mean, I could make a list of things they could do that would make me feel like they're in the right direction. But I think until all of them were done, I'll personally never use the site again. And I can't see some friends of mine ever coming back to the site either, just because this is so unprofessional. And it's like, you can build up any site. We as creators have the power to bring our fans where we want to be. It takes time and it takes patience, but we don't have to put up with being treated like shit. So we
Mm-hmm.
should.
I fully agree with you. Um, just finished a move halfway across the country, so I had a delay in this, but I just finally had the chance to rip all my content off Manyvids. It is off every list as a payment method. The sliver of security that having that company as an option was there is gone because of their behavior and how they presented themselves publicly. In my mind, if you want to build the trust of a demographic, you fight for, you defend, and you represent that demographic. They have fought against, defended against us, and they have done everything in their power to represent us in the worst light possible. Very recently, actually, what finally spurred my fuck it, I'm gonna make time to rip all my content off Manyvids. And I'm very lucky. I only had 40 videos up there. That took 8 hours. 8 solid hours. To the people who have a decade of a library up there, I love you. I'm so sorry. You have every bit of energy from my body funneling into you. But I recently, a sale for a clip went through before I did that. And it was this pit in my stomach of, I don't want that fucking money. And you didn't deserve that money. So there is that whole creators who are stuck there, like, and it is being stuck there at this point. But let's say Manyvids loses their shit even further, with all due respect, because it is very unprofessional at this point. If they disappear tomorrow, if they say NSFW, get out, what do you tell the creators to do? What do they do?
So if you haven't done it already, you haven't diversified your income, you are already in a really crappy spot. You need to start working on this answer today, not when they ban NSFW, if they ban it. You need to do it right now. You need to have your content library in at least 2 different locations. I know it's a pain in the ass. I know clips for sale interfaces people want to pull their hair out. I know that maybe I want clips isn't your favorite option because of their track record, but at least they aren't hating on their creators publicly. There's so many different places, even if it's a niche place that maybe doesn't have internal traffic, but just to have it there. So when your fans are looking for it, you can direct them to the place that you feel the best about morally, because you want to drive your traffic, 1, to where the payout is the highest, 2, to where you feel the happiest to make that transaction. So that can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be a dedicated clip site or an all-in-one like Manyvids. It could be a membership site like my member site. It could be a fan club site that has a video store option like Loyal Fans. There's so many different options available right now that you need to be in as many places as possible, not just in case the site has a major crazy thing happen in Dancy. That is possible, of course, but you should just be there because it's the best option for your business as well. So I think that making sure you're diversifying now versus when that happens is my biggest piece of advice for you. Get on any site that you can mentally handle uploading all of your stuff to, getting it set up. And it doesn't have to be overnight. You could take days or even weeks to get all of your stuff put up there, because there's an amazing feature called queuing. And it will look like a new upload on that site if you queue it out. So, I mean, go for it. Get in as many places as you feel match your brand identity as you can. And to anyone who doesn't do that, if they do ban NSFW and you aren't diversified, I mean, obviously prepare for a financial hit. Hopefully, if you haven't diversified, you've been saving up money to that point, so you will be okay. But start diversifying. And that's when it becomes more of a, you probably need to do it overnight kind of thing. But definitely get in other places and also have an established presence online where your fans know to find you. Because platforms can fail, they can go bankrupt, they can ban you, they can have server downtime. So you need to establish yourself in places where fans can find you, and establish your search engine optimization by having a username that is easy to look up.
Speaking to the choir, sexy right now. That was really good. Well, no, because I say that all the time. Is like your brand name, where people find you.
Mhm.
Like, you don't want something like outrageously long or
Mhm.
wild. You want something like, I know you. Like, for me, everyone knows me as Casey, the lovely Casey, or the Peach Princess. If you think about peaches, guess what's coming to your head? Me. I have made that brand. It is a thing. And if you make that to where, okay, so now something happened. I went down here, 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 and here. Where can I find her? Can I Google it to see where she's coming back up? Can I search into a new website? Because if you search my name anywhere and I claim it, it pops up. You can just find me. And that's so important, to be findable, to diversify, especially with all the things with Manyvids kind of go into a broader thing of there is kind of some attacking of sex workers and sex work from all sides, from inside the house, from outside the house, from every single place. So the best thing you can do is diversify now before you have to. That is going to be the thing, right? Because it's going to be eventually you're going to have to. And I think that Manyvids is just kind of like the tip point of sex work is going to get a little bit harder real quickly with how things is going out. So take this time to kind of open up and be like, okay, am I diversifying? Do I have 3 different clip sites? Do I have backups? Do I have what are they called? Little like outside data holders. I don't
Hard
know
drive,
techno.
external hard drive.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty.
outside
I'm not.
data.
Like,
like-
have a hard drive of your stuff.
Yeah.
Don't just depend on this, like the cloud. Don't just depend on the site.
Oh, and organize your stuff on that hard drive because it's going
Don't
to
talk
make
to
your
me like that.
diversifying 10 times easier. I know.
Yeah.
It
does.
I don't do it. I have my stuff is in like 20 different folders on different hard drive. Like I promise, like I know what you mean when you say like don't talk to me like that. But if you have the time to do it, if you find yourself sitting there and you're like, what can I get done today? Like it is so worth it.
It is.
Streamlines everything. Make a folder with your video title, your thumbnail, your preview, and the video itself in there, and you will have the best time.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in the process of it. I'm organizing 4 years worth of content and I want to die. I want to die. It's so boring. It's so gorgeous. It's so organized. I want to die.
But on that note, thank you for being here. I appreciate the absolute teetotal fuck out of you for being here.
Yeah. Thank
It
you.
has been amazing and fun for me. And I think that's it for us.
Yeah, and you know what, honey, I want to take a second to acknowledge, I'm very well aware you're sticking your neck out. You've been talking on this since you said 2020, right? But things have gotten a little bit more spicy lately. A lot of it more legally focused. So the fact that you were willing to come on here and speak alone, big balls, gilded balls, gorgeous, shining on the trophy shelf balls. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to have a platform where you can actually talk about the things going on without worrying about censorship. And my biggest goal is just to connect with whether it be new models or current models that may not know what's going on because knowledge is so valuable. And I think that if you're in the adult industry and you have knowledge to share with people, you should never hold yourself back from doing that. So I appreciate you giving me a place to do that and to talk about it.
Yes, we shat on Manyvids for a hot second and talked about them, but the moral of the story of this, take care of yourself. Financially, take care of yourself. Do what you need to do. Morally, do what you need to do for you to make sure that in this time of, we don't know what the fuck's happening at any moment, at any time, you do you and you take care of you. So diversify, find out what works for you, find out what sits right with you, be able to stay resilient, stay creative, stay organized, and stay informed with this. And I cannot wait to see what we all create and make. And maybe if we work a little bit harder together and stop tossing shit in the house, we can make this a better place for sex workers and sex work as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining. Plug yourself. Plug what you got going on. Take 2 minutes. Scream. Scream to the world where we can find you.
I'm Aerie Saunders. I'm on X, formerly Twitter, as Aerie Saunders. I'm sure they're going to have a link in here. I'm not going to spell it for you out loud because I will sound like somebody who is bad at spelling. It has a lot of vowels. I'm really sorry. AerieSaunders.com will have all of my active links where I would prefer you check out my content. I specialize in kink, fetish, and domination content, but I do a little bit of everything. So if you're looking for girl, boy, girl, vanilla, masturbator, TFB, whatever it be, I've got a little bit of everything, I promise. And catch me on your vids because that has my biggest video collection currently. My name on there is just Aerie because screw SEO, I am the Aerie.
Yes, I'll make sure to get her links in the description box below. And if we're all really nice and we all beg and plead and we all give the best puppy eyes we've ever created, maybe Miss Aerie might help us with some Your Vids resources in the future, all about Your Vids and all about what to do.
I can for sure do. Well, I'm going to be making blogs about how to use the site, so I would be happy to. Yeah, I'll have it on deck.
Hell yeah! All right, you guys. Casey, close us out of this bad boy.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining all three of us today and listen to us yap about the important things that happen within all of our worlds. I want you to remember to stay safe, stay sane, keep being hot, keep being sexy, and keep flourishing.
Hell yeah!
Yappers unite!
Yes, unite with the millennial heart! Yes, millennial hearts in the chat! Fuck yes! You know how good that was to see? Oh my god, all my coworkers are Gen Z, you guys. That felt so good.
How do they do it? They do it like this now, right?
Yeah, I don't!
I'll do my little Korean heart.
I don't actually know. Okay, I'm gonna stop.